So, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ralph Joaquin Farrell B. Balakwit. I'm from grade 11 Love from the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines. And I'm here to talk to you about fake news, or more specifically, the difference between misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. Now, you might be asking yourself, why exactly is this important to learn? Why can't I just move along with my day without listening to this topic? Well, in a world that's mostly going digital now, where news is shared online and where people with ill intentions preside, it's important for us to be able to know the difference and to be able to identify these fake news and the real news, and also how to combat it. So before we move on, I just have some objectives right here that I'd like to share with you, and that what I hope is by the end you'll be able to distinguish the difference between misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, as well as analyze and identify misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. So I've already said it twice, so I'm not gonna really say it the third time, but here are the three different types of fake news. Again, we have dis, mis, and malinformation. And starting from the top, we have disinformation, which is knowingly spreading of false information to harm others. So this could be fake news articles that look real, and I'm pretty sure we've seen these. Um, Edited images or videos or deep fakes, if you've seen any of those. Fabricated screenshots. Okay, so this is when you replace someone's message with a fake message that they quote unquote sent so that it seems like they said this instead of that, or conspiracy posts with no clear evidences. So, the example that I'm going to show you is actually something that I've experienced at least a bit uh, for myself, and that's pure placenta. Now, pure placenta is this nutritional supplement that claims to be able to cure you of any illness. As you can see right here, uh, it says it's for those with high blood pressure, cardiovascular diseases, neurodegenerative diseases, skin hypersensitivity, chronic inflammatory diseases, urogenital problems, dementia or Alzheimer's, arthritis or gout, osteoporosis, apoplexy or stroke, cancer, diabetes, insomnia, chronic fatigue, metabolic problems, Parkinson's disease, and a lot more that I could not fit in this tiny segment right here. Uh, so, like I mentioned before, uh, the edited images and videos, these are edited images and videos shared online by um, resellers of Pure Tier. So we have this one, which is the Pure Tier Placenta HIV, where this person apparently is able to recover fully from HIV just using Pure Tier Placenta. And we have this one, which looks like mm, what's the word? Um, we have this one that's a news outlet that seems to be praising it. Although, if you go to the comments or if you do your research, you'll actually understand that this did not mention Pure Tier Placenta at all. This was for another completely different company. And so I did my research, of course, and I found that in 2018, the Food and Drug Administration issued a public health warning against Pure Tier and their unapproved claims. And in that public health warning, they actually showed that all of their claims were fake. you know. And I couldn't really fit the entire book here, but I'll be sure to send or to leave a link down below to the entirety of it so that you can read it for yourself if you wish to. But most of the people who actually fell for this were farmers, you know, people with who need to be strong, people who want to live longer and stuff like that. Old, mostly old people as well. Yeah, and so because of the almost placebo effect that this pill gave them, they actually recommended it to their friends, not knowing that it was actually fake and that it didn't actually do anything for them. Now, sharing of this type of information is called misinformation, which is the spreading of false information without the intent to cause harm. So what that basically means is they did not know that it was fake. Like they were not sharing it because they thought it was fake. They were sharing it because they thought it was real. Now, this can be breaking news that has not been verified yet by the proper authorities. Health tips, you know, the ones you see on YouTube that are like, you should eat this so that you can um, get better hearing or stuff like that. We have misinterpreted posts and unverified rumors. Now, especially this last part, I think we've all been almost vessels for misinformation, especially for this last part, because um, it's the Filipinos almost second nature to gossip, you know. And sometimes we don't really think about uh, those gossips. We don't really think about um, confirming if they're real or not because we get so caught up in the moment that, oh my goodness, he did that or she did that. So the example I want to give is this: a post that I found on TikTok that talks about how the hantavirus, which recently went viral because it outbreaked in a cruise with over 200 people, and apparently, according to the post, it was now apparently in the Philippines because apparently there was a case in the Philippines according to this health map. Uh, so I did my own research because I did not want another COVID to happen. So I was like, oh my goodness, is this real? I don't think I should be going outside if this is real. And what I found was that GMA News in the Manila Times, backed by statements that they got from the Department of Health, state that there's actually not been any hantavirus cases at all recently in the country. And not only that, but border screening is now in place because of the hantavirus concerns. So what that basically means is that not only is there no cases here, but they are actually taking cautionary steps just to make sure that the hantavirus does not accidentally wash up on our shores. You know, they check passengers, you know, they check them if they have the virus or not. So, yeah. And now we're moving on to malinformation. Now we've actually talked about uh, spreading fake information for the past two subjects, but now we're actually going to the true spreading of information. And although true, it's actually heavily edited information so that the persons involved are harmed either physically, mentally, or socially. And this can be leaking private information or doxing. I know a couple of people that have been doxed over the years, you know, because I have a lot of online friends. This actually happens a lot online, or it used to happen a lot more back in 2021. But even though people have gotten smarter, there's still people who fall for the doxing trick. We also have the usage of old posts against someone. So it's going to be, for example, you posted something quite controversial um, say 5 years ago, and then now you're a very relevant character. You know, you have a lot of things that you could lose, and somebody from your past finds that old post and they decide that they want to ruin your life. So they use that old post, they share it around, and yeah, the rest is just there people sharing it, and then you eventually losing everything. We can see this with a lot of celebrities these days. You know, with especially with the cancel culture uh, that's even though it's kind of dwindling down, it's still there. We can see that with the cancel culture, with all these celebrities or online uh, internet personalities, that you can see them that they're getting canceled for something that they said all those years ago. And there's also exposing personal conversations publicly to embarrass someone. Now, this last one, this is actually a good example I can give for this is I don't know if you know this, but at the time of recording, there's this situation with a VTuber called Saikuno, and uh, recently there has been lots of posts regarding like past conversations with his exes and how he cheated and stuff like that. But it's just like it's screenshots of their old conversations, right? So they're going to be able to see what he said. That's why sometimes maybe you'll hear someone say, "Oh, my XP is low, my XP is low," because they're mentioning that. They're mentioning the screenshots that they saw of Saikuno. So, this malinformation example that I actually chose is one of, I guess, one of the more bigger rumors, or no, it's more niche rumors of the or niche examples because it's from the UP Diliman based fraternity houses Sigma Phi and Sigma Rho. Now, in 2018, screenshots from Sigma Phi and their group chat were actually leaked, showing their misogynistic nature. And a few months later, in 2019, uh, another fraternity, Sigma Rho, also had their group GC leaked. And it was actually, I think, I mean, not one for one, it was like very similar. So it showed that there was a lot of misogyny between the fraternity community there in UP Diliman. And so apparently the person that leaked these messages was also holding on to these messages for a very long time because they knew that they had to wait for the perfect moment, so to quote unquote ruin the lives of these people. So now that we've learned about disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation, how exactly can we identify fake information? Now, one of the big red flags that you need to look out for is if the grammar of the post is incorrect. This is mostly because those reliable sources that I mentioned before, they have their own editors, their editors in chief. So it actually goes through a lot of checking, a lot of screening before it's actually posted. So it's quite improbable that a post by a reliable source is actually going to have any uh, grammar issues. But then again, we're human, so you shouldn't entirely base it off of that. That's why we have our second identification if it's fake information, which is it's not from a trusted source. So you have your GMAs, your ABS-CBNs, your TB5s, uh, basically just reliable sources that have that give news that is true and backed by research. And we also another identification. classification of fake information is if the information is not confirmed anywhere else. So this is basically like if there's one person here that says, "Oh, we have to go left," and there's 499 other people here that says, "No, we have to go right." You'd feel more inclined to join the 499 people because they're supporting each other, while the one person that wants to go the other way is not being supported by anyone else. And when you ask them, he says that, "Oh, I just saw that it's safe." And then the 499 people, they say that, "Oh, we looked at it, there's some information about it. Uh, it's faster if we go this side." And then they all agree. So that's basically that, the logic behind that one. And the last one is if the post is too vague. Now, what does it mean to be too vague? Uh, it doesn't have any specifics like when did this happen, how did this happen, who was involved, just normal random stuff like that. If it's too vague about a topic that should be at least a bit specific, it's probably fake information. Yeah. So how do we verify our own information then? Again, you should check your trusted, credible news outlets and respective experts on the matter for more information about the topic. So don't ask a random person on the internet if this is right. What you should be asking, or who you should be asking, is an expert on the matter. So you shouldn't ask about your health on a random platform like Reddit or TikTok. You should actually ask a doctor because they know what they're doing. And it's not improbable to find a doctor on Reddit or TikTok. Just don't take the chances. And you should always try to look for evidence that might support the claim that the post is making. There's a reason why they're called supports, because they hold the main idea up together with the claim so that your main idea is more strengthened, or it doesn't look like it's fake. So that's about it. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I really hope that you enjoyed. Uh, I really hope that you learned something. Yeah. So thank you and goodbye.